Hello, I'm Rick Joyner. Thank you for joining us for this special bulletin on current events. And, you know, when we started doing these, the tension was rising greatly throughout the country, and there were many crises that we were facing, especially economic crises, and now it's just boiled over into so many areas. We could spend a lot of time talking about each one of them, and we are going to examine some of them in increasing depth, but I just want to give you just a basic update on where I see things going. I believe this is going to be one of the most intense autumns this season. The next through October, November, December is going to be one of the most intense times I believe we've experienced as a nation in some time. There are just many factors and tensions and pressures that are coming together and seem willing to boil over. And I believe as Christians, we need to have an impact on keeping things under control and doing everything in the Spirit of the Lord and not just getting caught up in anger and bitterness. And there's, just a great division in the land. And we are here as peacemakers, and we need to keep that in mind. And I think as you've gotten from these special bulletins, I'm not going to hesitate to speak out boldly in what I consider to be the truth. But I am doing it as much as to get people's attention and to wake them up who may be holding to what I believe is a terrible deception or delusion or even have evil intent, which they may in their hearts think is a very good intention, but we, that's our heritage, our foundation, our basic rights to speak out on these things, but we never, ever need to demonize the people that hold to opposite opinions. And some have taken some of the things that I've written and said and thought that I was doing that. And if so, it certainly was not my intent, because I really do not believe, I fundamentally do not believe that we're warring against flesh and blood, but we're warring against spiritual powers of darkness and delusion. And any other human being that is even being used by these things, they're not the enemy. They are never the enemy. Our goal is to help them to be set free and to see the light. And I believe the only way that's ever going to happen, the way it needs to happen, to bring lasting good fruit, is to be done in the Spirit of the Lord, which is we love people. We don't hate anybody. I don't care how much in opposition to us or how much they hate us. We're supposed to love our enemies. And we have got to stand on these things in the incredible degree to which even some Christians have started talking about, is violence coming and what is happening? Is there war coming? Is there civil war coming? There are times, obviously, when war is essential. It is always, though, the greatest failure, I believe, of the church if any kind of conflict breaks out. It means we were not able to do our job. We were not able to accomplish the means that we were seeking to accomplish by the Spirit of the Lord. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. They're spiritual. They're more powerful than armies. They're more powerful than bombs and guns. The truth is more powerful. The truth has changed the world far more than any military force ever has. That's a divinely powerful weapon. And let us determine that that's the weapon we're going to use, is the truth spoken in the Spirit of the Lord, which is always love, joy, peace, patience, all of these things. That doesn't mean we compromise. It doesn't mean that we're not strong in standing. But we don't do it to wound or injure other people. We do it to help them. But there are ultimate issues that are rising right now in our country, and we do need to be prepared for where it's going. I believe tensions are likely to rise dramatically. And I want to give a few basic explanations about why this is happening so we can understand better how to deal with it. Now, the town hall meetings have escalated from being about the health care bill to now the outrages about many other things that are coming down from the present Obama administration. And fear is rising that this is an administration that really is seeking to take our most basic rights There seem to be bills that are meant to lead up to the bills in Congress, meant to lead up to that, to deprive Americans of their basic rights of freedom of speech, freedom of religion, our most basic freedoms. We're seeing our economic freedoms being lost in huge chunks, at a time right now. And Americans are waking up on both sides. I believe we are going to hear Democratic voices, Democratic Party voices, starting to speak out in alarm at what's happening. And if they don't speak out, the Democratic Party really will lose all of its credibility, and I believe will lose any ability to run the country again, maybe for a generation. Because, what is happening should be as deeply alarming to those of the Democratic Party as the Republican Party. And I personally believe that both parties have let us down profoundly, fundamentally. But there are certain American values, certain things that the nation of America was built upon, was founded upon, has grown upon. It is the core fabric of our strength, of our greatness. And America truly has been not only one of the great nations in history, it may have been the greatest nation in all of history in many ways. And I'm talking about greatness as far as doing good for its neighbors, doing good even for its enemies, that it has won wars and conflicts about. One of the first things we do after subduing an enemy is help rebuild their nation, and usually making it much better than it was before. But the goodness of America and the strength of America, the very fabric, the very core spiritual and economic and every other kind of DNA of America is being eroded very fast and is under attack right now. We do need to consider that is very real. Now, I don't believe we're going to lose that fight. I believe that America is going to wake up to what's going on. That is happening. I think it is happening even faster and more powerfully than I was expecting it to happen. But it is happening. And I believe we're going to have, a true and thorough examination of everything that's going on, how it happened, how it got there, where we were headed. And I believe there's some ways we're going to say we are never going to go that way again. But, I am just as concerned about the extreme right as I am the extreme left. And we don't want, there is a ditch on either side of the path of life. And sometimes if you overreact to the ditch on one side, you fall into the ditch on the other. And that's been one of my concerns from the beginning, that the extreme left is creating an overreaction where we may tend to go as a country to the extreme right. That's not the answer either. Listen, an eagle needs a left wing and a right wing to fly. We need both wings working well. And it has been a brilliant system to now. There's some fundamental issues attacking the system that we really need to look at those and get them fixed and get them right. But there's never been a system like ours that has so promoted freedom and prosperity for so many. There's still pockets of oppression. There's still pockets of racism and injustice that really do need to be addressed in our nation. No question about it. Healthcare, there is no reason why a nation of our wealth and our strength and our ingenuity could not provide the highest quality healthcare available to everyone. That should be basic, and it could easily be done. I just don't think the way it's being proposed by this administration, I think it would result in the opposite. And obviously many others are rising up with that same, perspective on it. But something needs to be done. We don't want to overreact to these issues. So, this is an appeal. First, let's get the mind of the Lord on these things. And, He is the light of the world. And He's given us that light, which means we should have the answers to the world's ultimate problems. We should have the answers to what our communities are facing. So, that's what I'm appealing for. First, don't overreact, but let's pursue the Lord and let's follow the Lamb into this. It's going to come out right. And I'm going to talk about some things in a little more depth You don't want to miss this next bulletin.